Hello and welcome back to Do-It-Yourself Eliquid Recipes. I'm John, I'm a flavor compounder, and today I will be doing another Q&A video with questions that have been asked from viewers about DIY e-liquids, recipes, flavors, and other questions regarding DIY mixing. While doing that Q&A, I will be also mixing one recipe, and this will be an apple pie recipe that I have released maybe a couple weeks ago or the week before that. Doing that, I will use Capella's apple pie, which is a very good flavor, but I have been vaping it for a while. Oh my god. And I'm starting to get tired a little bit of the cinnamon. So this time I will try to make it without any other cinnamon. I will just use whatever cinnamon is in the apple pie flavor already, and everything else will be anything else but cinnamon, like creams, a little bit of sweetener, and no nicotine. I'm just wearing gloves out of habit. But yeah, okay, so let me start, and I will start with the first question. I will have the questions posted on the screen before I will say that. I will do it on the editing. So I will have all 5 questions that I picked for today post, so you can see the topics that I will discuss for today. And I will start first with a question from the Cincinnati King, and he said, when would you want to change the propylene glycol and vegetable glycerin ratios when making a recipe, and why? Okay, so for this first question, I'll have to say there's many reasons why would you want to change the ratio. The first one will be throat hit. If you want to make a flavor to have more throat hit, or feel like a little bit like a cigarette, or if there's a flavor that has too much of it, then you would reduce the propylene glycol. But in any way to achieve a throat hit, you would do it with a propylene glycol ratio. So if you want more of it, you would have a higher propylene glycol ratio. If you want to make a smoother vape, you would use more vegetable glycerin. So that's one reason. Another reason will be the vape cloud production. So if you want to make a stealthy vape without not much smoke or not much vape showing, then you will make a high propylene glycol recipe, maybe something with 60 or 70%. Or even 80% of propylene glycol. That way you'll make a more stealthy kind of vape. Or if you want more vape production, then you would make a high VG recipe with maybe 70 or 80% of vegetable glycerin. And yeah, that way you will get a lot of cloud production. And then there's 2 more reasons. I will go over them quickly. One of them is temperature or thickness. If you want to vape at low temperatures, you would use a lot more propylene glycol, so the juice is thicker and burns easier and wicks easier. And the other reason is flavoring, and propylene glycol carries flavor much better. So if you make something that has a lot of vegetable glycerin, something that has maybe 90% of vegetable glycerin, a recipe, then you will need a little more or maybe much more flavoring to get the same effect of the recipe that was 50% propylene glycol, 50% vegetable glycerin. So the higher the vegetable glycerin, more flavoring you will use to carry the same amount of flavor. So that's a general rule, but it usually works that way. So yeah, if you make recipes with a lot of vegetable glycerin, be prepared to use it a little more, or sometimes even a lot more flavorings than the recipes that have 50 or 60% vegetable glycerin in them. Alright, so the second question would be from Ina, and she asked, will Acetyl Pyrazine, Smooth, or MTF's Vape Wizard affect steeping times? I will say no, they don't really affect steeping times, in the way that if you let an e-liquid steep, most flavors should have been blended in that time. If it's 1 or 2 weeks, together with the rest of the flavors, the smooth, which is pretty much triacetine. So any triacetine compounds or any other smoothing agent should have been blended by that time too. If you find that they have not blended, or if you do a fast steep, then maybe shake them every day. Like if you're going to let them steep for only 5 days, shake them every day for those 5 days, and that would help a little bit with the blending. Not much, but it's a lot more than doing nothing. So if you're going to vape them faster than you would do normally, just shake them a little more often, and then that should help with the blending. Next question would be, I don't want to make this too long, be boring, but I wanted to try to cover all 5 questions in a reasonable amount of time. If you don't see me do anything on the screen and you're just watching the scale, yeah, sorry for that, but I don't want to add any pictures to distract from the whole thing. Okay, so the next question is, what's the smallest amount of flavors that can be used to make a decent or semi-decent recipe? The answer to that would be 1. You would need only 1 flavor to make a very good recipe. I know that might sound weird, but there are some flavors that would actually make a very good recipe just solo, just alone. They might not be sweet or sweet enough like a usual Eliquid recipe that would have sweet in it or more than 1 flavors in them, but still that would be fine. Some flavors that would do that would be RY4. Pretty much any version of the RY4 would work alone, since it's already a blend of different flavors. Then in Awera Shisha line, they have a Shisha line that pretty much any of those ingredients too or flavors would work alone. And then there is creams from TFA or Capella or Flavora. Pretty much any cream should work also solo. And then any caramel or butterscotch from Flavor West. Those are also pretty good flavors for solo. So yeah, some apples, most of fruits should work around 10% as solo, and that would be fine. So yeah, you can make a lot of them. They won't be as good, as I said, as a recipe that has a sweetener and a few other ingredients going on, but they won't be bad. They will be very good, especially if you let them steep for about a week and make them with a 60 or 70% of vegetable glycerin. They should taste pretty spot on, and they should be pretty good and an inexpensive way to vape. Alright, so moving on the 4th question. Let me finish this. Oh my god, too much. Okay, the 4th question is, let me find it. 4th questions. Okay, this question is from Keisha. How are the ratios for a double shot calculated in your recipes? So how I calculate the double shot ratios, I don't do that with every recipe. I could maybe, but some recipes work way easier, or it's way easier to figure it out, since you don't have to tweak that many components in them. So the way I do it usually, let's say for example there's a recipe that the primary flavor is 8%, and like Capella's vanilla custard, use that 8%, and then the secondary flavor is used at 3%, and then I will raise them both at a 2-to-1 ratio. So if I raise Capella's vanilla custard from 8% to 10%, that's 2% raise. I would use from the secondary flavor from 3% to 4%, so just 1% raise. So whatever ratio I would raise the primary flavor, I would raise the other one in a 2-to-1 ratio. And that's pretty much would work with 95 or maybe 98% of the recipe. You can do that. You can find the primary flavor, raise it, not too much, but raise it a little bit, and then at the same time raise the secondary flavors by half. Slowly doing that, eventually you might have a boosted up or doubled up recipe. So yeah, that's the way I usually do it, and then you can apply it almost in, oh my god, yeah, you can apply it almost in anything. And the last question for this video would be question number 5. Are you going to make more documentary style videos for other flavor companies like the one you did with Flavora and Capella before? Yes, I will do more. The reason I don't do them is they take way too much time for research, and it probably sounds weird when I say it takes way too much time, but it does, because there's not that many information sources, not that many places I can go and read about Capella. It's not like Sony or Nissan. They're not huge companies, so the information is limited. I have to find information in their original website, information from my past knowledge by using them or seeing them evolve in the times and the way they advertise or the products they release. So it's very hard to collect information, but I will do it. And the second reason is it's very hard to collect footage for them. I don't have any footage of their facilities or pictures, so finding footage also takes longer, since again they're not huge companies. So I can't just go Google the CEO's office and see it the same way you would do with like Elon Musk or Bill Gates. They're much smaller companies in that comparison, so it takes longer time to do the sourcing of the information. But I'm working on currently. It will take some time to be released, but I'm working on it. I'm collecting information and footage, and hopefully I can have it released within September this month. It will be only for one company, but yeah, that will be something that I will be releasing. So yeah, all these are the 5 questions that I have answered. Hopefully they helped you in some way, or if you had the same questions, hopefully you heard the answer or you heard a take on the answer. If you have any more questions, you can leave them in this video below or pretty much any other video. I will usually get the message, so I will be able to read them in any of the videos you leave them. So yeah, leave a question and yeah, I will try to get back to them. I didn't put vegetable glycerin in this because I spend more time talking than making the recipe, but it's okay, I'll do it later. Yeah, that will be the video. Leave me any questions and I will see you again next time with more recipes, reviews, and hopefully a documentary, as I said before. So I'll see you next time.